Okay, there. Sorry.
Okay, Noelle, you go first. So we'll just go back to what we were doing. Okay, go ahead, Noelle.
Okay, pretty much the whole story the witches are on about was a kid lost his mother and father in a car accident, and he had to go live with his grandmother, and they moved to England, where a bunch of witches and all these crazy stories his grandmother told him was true. And in the very beginning of the book, they described how you know the difference between a witch and just a regular woman, and they said only women could be witches, so that was one way. They always wore gloves to hide their long fingernails. They were bald, so they wore wigs, and then they didn't have any toes.
And their nostrils were really big.
Then, so, towards the middle of the book, the kid and the grandma went to this hotel, and they ended up at the place where the Grand Witch of all the witches hosted a yearly meeting. And pretty much this year, she was unhappy that there wasn't enough kids being killed, I guess, by the witches. And so she, she wanted all the kids in England to be dead within a year. And then, so they wanted to do that by putting poison in all these chocolates and give them to all the kids, and they'll all turn into mice. And that's pretty much how the grandchild of the grandmother and his friend Bruno, they both turned into mice, and then they ended up stealing the potion from the Grand Witch Lady, and that was the end of the story.
Okay, so Rachel, go ahead and talk about what you had mentioned before.
Okay, so I researched a little bit more on why the book was banned, and so mostly banned because in the book, Roald Dahl says that only women can be witches, which I thought was kind of funny. So I just felt like with banned books, it's all about presentation. So you could either make that like super serious and make it like a gender issue, or you can kind of like play it off as like funny, like, oh, class, isn't that funny? Like only women can be witches. And then I thought from there it'd be really cool to do like a KWL chart for kids about like what they think they know about witches, or like what they think they look like, and just kind of like doing that as the book progresses.
And I was just saying that I think that KWL chart would be perfect for this. So I'm agreeing with Rachel, because it would be a good kind of way to see what all the different children feel about what a witch is, if they have similar ideas, different ideas, and then kind of if you feel like just like the gender thing is an issue, if they say only women can be, then you can kind of play off of that and see where the lesson goes from how they kind of fill out the KWL chart.
So I would just like to mention that another reason why the book got banned was because it was like too like considered satanic to some extent in some places. So I thought that was interesting, because it's obviously a children's book, and it's like a really fun read and like really easy to understand. And so I don't know why people would. I guess I understand where they're coming from too, but it's still kind of like I don't think it's to the extent where it needs to be banned. And another idea that I had for like a lesson plan was like a creative writing assignment, because at the beginning of the story, the narrator, who is also the little boy, his grandma is telling him stories of how she knows about 5 children that actually disappeared because of witches. One got turned into like a chicken, another one like got turned into a statue, and another one like disappeared into a painting. So I think it would be really cool if we had like the students write their own creative story of how they think like they would like a child would be disappeared by a witch. So
Okay.
yeah.
Something that I kind of liked about the story also was the way it was narrated. It was almost like you felt like the boy was like talking to you, like he was saying like, this isn't like a fairy tale, this is about real witches. Like it almost seemed like it was like pulling you in with the way he was narrating it, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pictures in the book were really like kind of creepy, how real were how they like portray real witches. Here's just an example. That's kind of weird. And they're all weird and their scalp's itchy from the wig.
Okay, so I mean, obviously we talked about a lot what was going on in the book. I do want to mention something really cool that I found about witches that I thought was intriguing. Taking away from the witches and focusing on the boys' relentlessness to be successful in uncovering what they're going to do and saving millions of children. When I use this in a classroom, that would be my focal point. Taking that perseverance and taking that, no matter using the witches as an example of something that's going against your life, and using that with the boy's perseverance to say, okay, so he's saying that these are witches. He's one boy going against all these people. His state of being has been changed into something what we would consider small and minute, like a mouse. How is he going to overcome that? And he does. He overcomes that in the book. He stops them. So using that in a lesson plan that works with teaching children, like what part of your life have you had to overcome something so dramatic where you felt maybe like bullying or something that affects the emotions. So gravitating towards that was something that I saw, taking away from the negative and looking at the positive. That is where my lesson plan would have gone, and I think that's what Carla had mentioned, which is a really good idea, as well as good idea, which is something similar to what Noelle and Bianca were talking about. And I really would take all of that and I think incorporate into how we make a unit out of it. Using that book across the board. How would you use that all throughout, maybe like a quarter of your year? How would you use that to focus on so many different aspects? The book, I think, was banned incorrectly because it talks, like you guys said, gender. I mean, that's a huge concept today. Why did Robert Dahl choose that? Why did he choose women? What was it, something in his past? How did that affect him as a child? Why did he see that this little boy needed to turn into a mouse? So overanalyzing that, even with the older grades, even through 9th to 10th grade, and you can bring it all the way down to the small grade level that the boy represented, something that was, I think he was about 10 or, was he about 10 years old in the book?
Well, he was like 7 at the very beginning of the book, so I don't know how much time.
Okay, so, I mean, using that as an example as well. So, Matt, how about you? What do you think? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, just going off like the gender thing. I think just looking through the hybrid week, it was kind of saying like recognize the issue of why the book was banned, and then like say you wanted to really use that book in your classroom, but it was banned. How would you convince like the principal and like teacher? I remember him professor saying something about that. And I was just thinking that one way you could say is you could address the issue of the gender. And then you could say, what are some careers in our daily lives that we see to have gender issues, like firemen or nurses? Like, there's some, like, are these restrictions getting better? Like, is there, are male nurses more accepted? Like, I feel like kids could see that more, like, because, a lot of boys say, I want to be a policeman. Like, a lot of girls say, I want to be, a teacher. So how could you kind of address that and use the, negative of the story and turn it into a positive? Like, although it strays from like the actual storyline, it could be like a spin-off lesson that you kind of do.
That's good. Taking the negative connotation and changing it. I like that, Bianca. Okay, Matt, you got anything out there? Are you still with us? I know your video is not there, but I know you can hear us. I hope so.
Yeah, and then our like activity is very similar to what Carla said. Just have students discuss any stories that they've been told by any of their family members or friends. They could write it in the story or just discuss it with the class. See if anybody else has been told the same story or something like that. See if how stories are similar to each other or different. Yeah.
So kind of like a game of telephone, like creating a story and seeing like how they perceive it in their own mind.
Or they can just see like how stories have been passed along, and if they've been passed along like to their family, or if their family has heard the same story before.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so does anybody have any last words to say about our book? Other than that, I mean, we're gonna let Carla wrap up her Is it still going? Probably. You're
Yeah,
still good
we
on
have, like,
recording?
yeah, it's at 10 minutes.
And it's showing the audio has been recording?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything to say about the witches, or anything about any type of lesson plans, or how we can encourage this, even though it's a banned book? How can we bring it back as an advocate, as future educators?
No, I think we're
We're
good.
good to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you guys, this is an awesome meeting.
Okay.
And
Yay.
I'll see you guys next week, and I look forward to talking about our next book.
Okay, cool. Bye.
Bye.